Hello, all you brilliant pharmacists watching this recording, because probably in the first seconds of this live, I will be by myself. But um, yeah, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sorin. I'm a pharmacist in Ireland, and I own Kamiq Recruitment, which is a recruitment company specialized in recruiting pharmacists. So I recruit and train the pharmacists that I recruit. So yeah, we are streaming live in our two Facebook groups, um, our Romanian Facebook group and the English speaking Facebook group. Basically, I started out with my fellow Romanian pharmacists and gathered them all up in a Facebook group, and then the whole thing blew up, and pharmacists from all over the world wanted to be trained to come to Ireland. So I created a second Facebook group for non-Romanian pharmacists. So my fellow Romanian pharmacists are privileged to have Facebook groups, Facebook posts in their own language. But we're going to be holding this live training in English so everyone can understand it, and I wouldn't have to do it twice, because if I did it in each Facebook group, I would lose like a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of spare time because I still work as a pharmacist full time, and I have a wonderful family, and I have to make time for my wonderful family, for my wife, for my two kids. So not a lot of spare time to lose. That's why I chose to use a thing called StreamYard, which allows me to um, basically go live in both of the Facebook group at once. So if underneath the live stream, I think you have to let StreamYard, the app that I'm using, see your Facebook profile. You have to give it permission, or else all I see in the chat is Facebook user saying hello, hello. I see some of you say hello, but I only see Facebook user for everyone. So underneath the live, there should be something saying give StreamYard permission to view your profile or something like that. And then I can see exactly who is typing in the chat, and we'll do a question and answer session at the end. But I will ask you to keep the questions related to the methadone topic. We won't be taking questions for other topics for now. Perfect. So before we start this, I just want to give a big shout out and say congratulations to Alberto for starting his new job. So congrats, Alberto. I want to say congratulations to Shoni, who started his job recently in Dublin. I want to congratulate Tabita, which not too long ago ended up in a very, very good pharmacy with a very, very good rate. I want to say congratulations to Diana for starting her new job in Dublin as well. She's doing great. I want to say congratulations to Yazia. She has just reached an agreement and will come to Ireland soon. I want to congratulate Michele Acquafresca. He's awesome. He started straight as a supervising pharmacist. He went through all the training that I provided here, and the owner was confident enough to actually let him start as a supervising pharmacist, which is great. So great job, Michele. I want to say congratulations to Danielle and Ruxandra. Awesome, you guys. Best of luck with your English exams. I want to say congratulations to Monica. She's doing awesome in her job, and I wish her all the best with her English exam as well. So, all right. Okay, I see Danielle has given StreamYard the permission to to access his Facebook profile, so I know that it's him, but I have at least 3 others that have typed in the chat hello, and I only see Facebook user. So just look out for underneath the live stream somewhere, depending on which device you are, there should be something saying give StreamYard permission to see your Facebook profile. All right, I hope you guys are excited to learn how to dispense methadone in Ireland. Okay, now I've been working pretty hard on getting all the material together for you guys. Not all of you have downloaded the material, because it would have been easier for you to follow if you downloaded and printed, because you might not see everything on the screen if you're watching on a smaller device. I will share my screen with you guys, and I will go through the material that I provided, and I will explain everything. Real quickly, I told you guys I would tell you how God did a wonderful thing for us. If you know at all the situation with rents in Dublin, it is mental. So we've been renting an apartment for 3 years, over 3 years now, and the landlady said all of a sudden, that's it, I'm going to sell the apartment. So because we lived there 3 years, we had legally we had 6 months to find another place to rent. So we had to find something close by where we lived, because the kids have schools in our neighborhood, so we didn't want to change schools and all that. And we looked up apartments, and they were €3,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment, which is robbery. And within a week, an apartment in the next building in the same estate that we were renting was put up for rent. We saw the ad on a Friday, and by the next Tuesday, we ended up signing the contract, and we were able to move in. So if that's not a wonder of God, I don't know what is, because if you ask people, like I told someone in the pharmacy that, and she said like, okay, now I can play the lotto because I have chances to win, because it's more likely to win the lotto than to actually find a place in Dublin, which is actually lovely place, a penthouse apartment in the same estate. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. I don't want to bore you with my stories, because you're all here to actually see and get some value for your time. And I appreciate your time in coming here live. So let's see. I will let you see my screen now. Okay, before we go into that, yeah, let me share my screen with you. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. I'll show you my entire screen. All right, now it's gonna look all weird until I go into Canva. And perfect, let's see. So this is one of the materials that I've sent you. Basically, in Ireland, when a person becomes addicted to opioid drugs, then they, if they decide they want to quit and get rid of that addiction and quit using drugs, they have to go to a methadone clinic. Sorry, I'm catching a bit of a cold, so my throat is in pieces. So they have to go to a methadone clinic where a doctor that specializes in methadone will get them on a stable methadone dose. And once the patient is on a stable methadone dose, and he is attending the clinic daily, and he shows that he's serious in actually quitting using drugs, then once he's stable, there's a methadone liaison officer that is associated with that particular patient and is looking after him. And that methadone liaison officer will ring the pharmacy that is nominated by the patient. So the patient is asked, which pharmacy would you like to attend? Which one's closest to you or to your workplace, or whatever the reason may be. And that patient will choose a pharmacy. So the liaison officer will ring that pharmacy and have a chat with the pharmacist. And first of all, they will ask the liaison officer will ask the pharmacist if that particular pharmacy provides methadone service, because not all pharmacies do. Some pharmacies choose not to do it. But if that pharmacy does, the liaison officer will will ask the pharmacist if the pharmacist is willing to take on another patient. Usually, they will say if the patient behaves well or not, or if he's changing pharmacies. The liaison officer will tell you, like, he's not a troublemaker, he's okay, he behaves well, or he might actually say, he's leaving the other pharmacy because he didn't really behave or did stuff that he wasn't meant to do. So the pharmacist has to agree, or the pharmacist can say, no, we're to our maximum capacity. We are not taking any more methadone patients, and that's okay. And that liaison officer will find another pharmacy for that methadone patient. But if the pharmacist gives the okay, the new patient will be nominated to that particular pharmacy. So when dispensing methadone, you will not get you won't get anyone just walking in with a methadone prescription and handing it over to you. It won't be like that. You once you agree that you're taking on that patient, you will receive in the pharmacy by post a methadone treatment card with the picture of the patient and a number that is particular to that patient, and that card is valid for 1 year. So you have all the details of the patient, you have the signature of the patient on that card, and you have his picture. So that patient will present into the pharmacy, and on his first occasion of coming to the pharmacy, he will be given a methadone dispensing agreement between him and the pharmacy, which we will go through shortly. But first, I wanted to show you this. This is a letter from the methadone clinic to the pharmacy, and this generally is how you are to deal with missed doses. So not all all methadone patients will behave in an exemplary way. Some of them will miss occasional doses, and this is how you deal with that. So you can see here, if the patient misses one dose, you are to continue with prescribed dose when the client presents the following day. So if he's daily supervised, for example, if he doesn't come one day, then like on a Monday, if he comes on a Tuesday, you still give him the dose that is on the prescription. Say maybe he's on 100 mils. You still give him on Tuesday the 100 mils. But if you can, as you can see below, if he misses 2 consecutive doses, so let's say Monday and Tuesday, when he comes on a Wednesday, you are going to dispense only half of the prescribed dose. So in our case, that would be 50 mils. When he presents on that following day. And then, so on Wednesday, if he misses Monday and Tuesday, on Wednesday, he gets half the dose, so 50 mils. And then on Tuesday and on Thursday and Friday, he will go back on 100 mils. So he goes back to the full prescribed dose thereafter. But you still have to notify the clinic or the liaison officer if he missed 2 consecutive doses. If the patient misses 3 consecutive doses, you do not dispense any further methadone until the patient is reviewed by the clinic, because he could get intoxicated, because he will not have that same resistance to methadone that he would have if he attended every day. So that's how you deal with missed doses. Now, it says, in any situation where you consider a client to be intoxicated on presentation and you are unhappy to dispense methadone, please withhold the dose and let us know. So if you see a methadone patient coming in and you see his speech is slow, and his overall state looks like he's intoxicated, maybe with alcohol or with drugs, then you as a pharmacist can use your professional judgment and actually not dispense the the methadone dose. Usually, like, you would like to, okay, say I won't give it, and you ring the clinic, but they either are out of hours, so they have short hours in those clinics. They're not there all day, so when you ring, they might not be there, or even if they are there, if they're busy, they're not answering the phone. So you can either choose to withhold the whole dose or actually give half the dose. I've had that experience when the patient was smelling of alcohol, so I knew he wasn't on other drugs. I only gave him half the dose for that day, because you don't want to leave them without the whole dose, because that would push them to go back on drugs. So you kind of have to use your professional judgment there. So this is how you deal with missed doses. And now the other material that I've sent you is the agreement example. So when that patient comes into the pharmacy for the first time, he is handed in an agreement between him and the pharmacy. If the patient breaks this agreement, you have the right to refuse dispensing methadone to him and call the liaison officer and say, we do not want him as a methadone patient anymore. So the liaison officer will start looking for another pharmacy for that particular patient. Now, this agreement may actually be different from pharmacy to pharmacy. So let me just check something there with you real quickly, because when I see the screen, when I share my screen with you, I actually can't see the comments. Let me see now. Okay, I can see your comments now. Do let me know if you can hear me right, because like, I have a special microphone, but I decided not to use it in case it made things worse. So just type in the chat if you can hear me okay, so I wouldn't be talking to myself here. If you can hear me and see everything okay, let me know in the chat. Just say yes, okay, or everything's okay. First time using StreamYard to actually go live. Pretty much the first time I go live. So if anything goes wrong, I'll just refund you all the money that you paid for this training. Yeah. So you all get your money back. Okay, we can hear you well. Yay. Good stuff. Are you telling them that they are only getting half of their dose? Yeah, you are. But if they're intoxicated, they won't probably, like, if they're intoxicated at the level that you're giving them half the dose, their speech would be so slow and non-articulated, and their awareness is going to be pretty low. So they won't really, they just say yeah. Because if they come into a state that they are aware that they are pretty well and in a good state, then you're giving them the full dose. But like the patient that I gave half the dose, he was like he waiting on a chair, and he was going and waking up and waking up, and his speech was slow and all that. And I knew it was alcohol because of the smell. But if I hadn't given the half the dose to him, when the alcohol effect would have passed, he would have been in shaking for his methadone and all that. So the best thing you can do is actually give him half the dose. The ideal situation would be if you could actually get through to the clinic, and then the responsibility gets passed on the clinic. But most of the times you won't get through to the clinic. Right. Let me close this annoying pop-up. Okay, I will go back and share my screen with you. Right. Perfect. So we'll go through the patient agreement, and then I have some special prescriptions that I got ready for you that I've sent you. Those are actually real prescriptions that I just typed in so you guys can fully understand it. Okay, share the screen. Perfecto. All right, so let's see. We have an example of a methadone agreement. So, at all times, the patient, pharmacist, and all pharmacy staff must be treated with and treat each other with dignity and respect. So, if the patient treats the pharmacy staff in a manner that is disrespectful, you actually have the right, based on this agreement, to refuse dispensing methadone to that patient. So this is basically what the patient signs. So when I read here, I will remain seated in view of the pharmacist and pharmacy staff while waiting for my methadone. Now, this is in there because some methadone patients rob the pharmacy. I've had cases multiple cases, when we had patients that were on methadone that robbed our pharmacy. It is not, and with all the data protection and all that, you can't really do anything about it. So if you call this is just a side, but if you call the guards and you tell them that the pharmacy was robbed, even though you know that patient, you can't give them the name of the patient. So the guards have to work out hard to find out his identity, even though you know it. But anyway, so but this rule, if this is in the patient agreement form and the patient signs it, based on this, you don't have to prove that he robbed the shop. He just didn't remain seated in view of the pharmacist. So if he goes around browsing the whole pharmacy, you don't have to prove that he robbed or not. You can just say, okay, you violated this number 2 of our agreement. You didn't remain seated in the view of the pharmacist or the pharmacy staff. Plain and simple. You ring the liaison officer and you say, I don't want to dispense methadone to this patient anymore. Number 3, methadone prescriptions are strictly the responsibility of the patient. No methadone will be dispensed without the relevant prescription. Now, this is in there because you will hear all sorts of stories. You will get patients that will come in and say the doctor wasn't there, the clinic is closed, the taxi wouldn't come, or his prescriptions were robbed while he was on the bus, or you will hear all sorts of stories to justify why they don't have a prescription. The doctor told me on the phone that he will send you the script tomorrow, or without a valid prescription on file or handed in by the patient, that patient will not receive any methadone whatsoever And it's very good if you have that in the agreement. Because they will try to put pressure on you, especially when they're bank holidays, and they'll say it's not my fault that your pharmacy is closed on a bank holiday, so I'm here early for my medication, but my prescription isn't here yet. And you will hear a lot of stories about why they don't have a prescription, but that you never ever ever dispense methadone without a prescription on file. All the patients must attend the pharmacy alone. So this is to protect yourself. Again, usually they hang out in the wrong crowd. So if he brings friends to the pharmacy, it's not ideal. So it's good to have this rule in there. When the methadone, when he comes for the methadone, he attends the pharmacy alone. If his friends are on methadone as well, they wait outside and come in one by one. And I've seen this being done. They all wait outside and they come in one by one by one. Okay, number 5, when you arrive at the pharmacy, your name will be taken, and then please take a seat, and you must remain seated until you are called. The pharmacist will dispense your prescription as soon as your prescription reaches the top of the queue. Everyone is dealt with on first come, first served basis. This is there because sometimes pharmacists, methadone patients come in and they act like they're in a hurry, they're all jumpy, they don't have any patience, and they want to be put ahead of the queue. And maybe you have a sick child waiting on the prescription, maybe you have someone elderly that you're doing a prescription for, and they will put pressure on you. The methadone patient will put pressure on you to why isn't my methadone ready, I'm in a hurry, I can't stay, or something like that. And they're all jumpy and eager to get their treatment. So it's good to have this in your agreement there, because they have to know that they are the same as all the other. So the ideal methadone patients, like the really well behaved ones, would ring you ahead. So when they're leaving their home, they could ring the pharmacy and say, yeah, this is me, I'm coming for my methadone in half an hour or 1 hour. And you actually know to get it ready in advance, so when they come in, yeah, they can have their methadone in a few minutes, and they don't have to wait because they rang ahead. So it's good to actually get your patients used to doing it that way. Your pharmacist will provide advice for your health and welfare. Okay, number 7, patients, their friends and relatives must not loiter in the pharmacy or in the vicinity outside the pharmacy before and or after methadone collection. So you are covering yourself that they behave in the pharmacy and outside of the pharmacy in your vicinity. They must behave well, or else you can tell them you violated rule number 7 in the agreement, and you are no longer welcome here. Okay, if you are dispensed daily and the day-to-day and the day is missed, you cannot collect an extra dose on the following day. So when a patient is on daily supervision, he must attend the pharmacy daily, as in the example I gave for the 100 mils. So if he missed, say, Monday, and he comes on a Tuesday, he just gets the 100 mils for the Tuesday. He doesn't get the 100 mils for Monday. If he's a beginner and he's not used to methadone, he will try to put pressure on you to give him the dose that he missed. You never do that. If the patient's doctor has requested that your methadone must be supervised, you will be given your methadone in a private, quiet area of the pharmacy and in the consultation room. You will consume methadone in the area and in the presence of the pharmacist. You will not ask for takeaways if the prescription states that it is to be supervised. You will take a drink of water after each dose. So the drink of water after each dose is because now, very, very rarely you would get a patient that would actually not drink his methadone. He will put it in his mouth and try to get out. And then outside would be a friend waiting. And this is disgusting, but they actually, spit methadone from one mouth to another. I haven't had this type of, but I have heard stories of this happening. So that's why it's always good to, have a little chat with him and see if the patient actually talks to you. It means he swallowed it, and then you don't have to insist with the water. So you either have a small chat, or you give him a small sip of water. Some of them ask for water because methadone tastes bad, from what I can tell. Um, okay. It says you will not ask for takeaways if the prescription says you are to be supervised. So there's no negotiation between like, okay, I can't come tomorrow, I'm at work, or I have this or I have that, so I cannot really attend the pharmacy tomorrow, even though the prescription says I should have a supervised dose. Can you give me a takeaway dose? You never, ever, ever dispense anything else than what is on the prescription. Never. If they have to do that, they can take it up with their doctor, and the doctor can send a new prescription with altered days that suit the patient. But once the doctor has put certain days for supervision, then you don't ever give them a takeaway. So for those of you that are brand new to this, on the prescription, we will cover this on the prescriptions that I have ready for you. The patient will have supervised dose, which means that you, the pharmacist, pour the methadone into a cup, and you give it to him in a care room where he has privacy, and the patient drinks it in front of you. And then a takeaway dose means that you pour the amount for that day or those days in plastic cup bottles, and you give them into a bag, and that patient gets that takeaway dose, and he drinks it the following day or the following days. So he could be supervised, say, on a Monday and Friday. So when he comes on a Monday, you give him his daily dose in a cup. He drinks it in front of you, and then he gets uh, four, no, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday. So 3 days, he gets three plastic bottles takeaway dose. So he will drink one plastic bottles on each day on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Friday, he will come back and have a supervised dose, and two more takeaways for Saturday and Sunday. That's just an example. I will cover that in detail when I get to the prescriptions that I got ready for you. Number 11, timing for methadone consumption collection must be tailored for each pharmacy. We offer methadone services. This is an example. So you can tell them you don't want them to be between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. because the staff isn't ready. They might be having prescriptions left over from the previous day. And most pharmacies do this. They don't take methadone patients in the first hour of the program and the last hour of the program, so from 5 to 6. So you put that in the agreement, so they don't come in the last hour when you might have less staff in the pharmacy, and they don't come in the first hour. So if they actually come outside of the agreed hours, you can refuse dispensing it to them based on this agreement. You can tell them, look, come back later. We stick to the agreement between 10 and 5 or whatever hours you have agreed upon. Number 12 is just to let them know if you miss 2 days in a row, the pharmacist will not dispense on the third day until your doctor has been contacted. So if it is in the agreement and they sign it, they can't say, I didn't know. So it's good to have this in the agreement. Okay. Methadone is always keep always under strict control and must be stored outside of reach of children. This is in there so the patient cannot say, I didn't know that. If a child drank it, this number 13 would keep you out of any trouble because you did let the patient know that he is not to keep methadone in the reach of children. Okay, my next of kin are aware of my agreement to this condition, and I am assuming safe custody of any methadone supplied to me. So if I had patients that said, look, I went on the bus and someone robbed my methadone and all that. You don't supply any more methadone until you can reach the doctor and the doctor says, oh, I'm okay with that. I will send you a new prescription for new methadone for this week, even though you dispensed that week for the patient. So if the doctor believes the patient's story, he can issue a new prescription, but you cannot. If they say I dropped I spilled my methadone or I dropped it in the sewer or whatever, you cannot dispense new methadone until you reach the doctor. If you cannot reach the doctor, they don't get a new prescription. They don't get a new methadone. Okay, number 14, I understand that methadone is very dangerous if mixed with street drugs. So this is just you letting them know that if they mix it with drugs, it's bad. I understand that selling or providing methadone to a third party is unacceptable. I understand to discontinue methadone supplies and not give me a reason. So you can actually just say no and you don't have to provide them a reason. Okay. Number 17 says that if it's lost or stolen, it will not be replaced without a new valid prescription. So that's what I just said. Okay. We have examples of unacceptable behaviors include presenting in the pharmacy under the influence of alcohol and drugs, which I just mentioned, verbally or physically abusing staff or customers, which has happened, coming to the pharmacy outside of agreed attendance time. Exactly. Not in the first hour, not in the last hour. Standing or waiting within 50 meters of the pharmacy. Yeah, that they must be having a reason for putting that there. Engaging in any dealings with other patients, so just leave our patients alone. Shoplifting, which I mentioned. Selling methadone outside the pharmacy. I haven't had that happen, but. And altering prescriptions. So if you see something on the prescription, like the dose being altered or God knows what else, you ring the doctor and you make sure that the doctor made that alteration and not someone else. Okay. Perfect. So the next page of the material, the pharmacist train. You have to check the prescription is written correctly. You have to input the patient details and create a patient medical record. That's what the PMR stands for. In the computer, where in that patient medical record, then everything you dispense will be registered there. It gives you what the pharmacy is required to give them. Okay, we'll just go over that. You guys can read through this. I'll just go through anything that needs explanation. Okay. So any plastic bottle that you give out for a takeaway dose, it's important to be to have a child-resistant closure. So CRC, whenever you see CRC cap or CRC, it means that particular cap on the bottle is the one that you have to put pressure on, so children would not be able to open it. You are advised to get a second member of the staff to check that you're giving out the correct brand, the correct strength, check the generated labels, and check that the bottle is securely closed and not leaking. Perfect. Note, dispensing on the methadone prescription denoting supervised doses with S and behind. Now we'll cover that when we get to that prescription. Okay. So next page. So we have problems that may arise. If anyone asks to pick up for another client, it's important to know what to do. So you might have someone saying, oh, I'm here to collect for my brother, for my father, for my uncle, for blah, blah, blah. Says collection by anyone other than the client must be prior arrangement. So the patient himself has to ring and say, I am unable to attend the pharmacy today for my takeaway dose, provided that that patient doesn't have a supervised dose that day. So is only allowed in exceptional circumstances for takeaway doses only. So usually when patients are long-term on it, so if the patient has been on methadone for years, the doctor may actually say on the prescription that he is not to be supervised anymore. The doctor trusts him. So then he just comes to the pharmacy to collect the full takeaway dose for the week, but he doesn't actually drink it in the pharmacy. So in that case, that patient could send someone, a friend or a member of the family, to collect for him, but he has to ring the pharmacy, have a chat with the pharmacist, say, I'm not feeling well, I cannot come to the pharmacy to collect my methadone, but I will give a handwritten note and I will sign it and I will give it to my brother-in-law or my friend, and he will collect the methadone for me. So when that whoever collects for him, the person comes to the pharmacy, you can check the patient's signature against the signature on the treatment card that is valid for 1 year that you received for that patient. So you check the signature and you have the phone call, so you can actually give that, but that's not valid for supervised doses. Okay, if they're too early, you can say that the agreement says it's too early. The same if it's too late, you can say it's out of the hours that we agreed on. If there is any misbehavior by the client, recorded in the patient's PMR on the computer. So every time the patient misbehaves, you make a note in his file in the computer. So you say the date and which way he misbehaved in. So if that happens once, twice, doesn't have to really happen a lot, more than twice, then you can review the contract that you have with him and ban him from your pharmacy. And you can ring the liaison officer or his general practitioner and tell them that you will no longer be dispensing methadone for that patient. So if it happens once, you leave a note in the patient's file. If it happens twice, you decide if you give him another chance or not, but you leave a note in the patient's file. If it happens the third time, you're best to let him go because he's a troublemaker. Okay. Basically, here you have to wash your hands, communicate with the methadone liaison officers. I want to go over the methadone spillages. So when you're getting the methadone ready, you spill methadone, you have to deal with it right away. So first you clean the area, you dry it, you clean it with detergent and everything, cover any wounds or any cuts that you might have, and make sure that basically it doesn't come in contact with any open wound or mucus or anything else. But you need to call another person, preferably the pharmacy manager or a technician, someone that is used to the dispensary. And you have to call them and say, look, I spilled 100 mils of methadone. I will clean it up and then I will write it in the register, because there is a book, a CD book, a register where all the methadone that you get from suppliers is written in, and all the methadone that is given out to patient is written in as well. So basically you can you can enter that spillage in the book. You must enter that spillage in the book. But you have to be like at the bottom of the page, you have a special section for explanations. So you can put an asterisk or whatever sign you put there, and you can say, look, I have spilled 100 mils of methadone when I was dispensing to this patient, and I was witnessed by the pharmacy manager, and you put in the name, or by this name, and you both sign it there. So when you get an inspection, they know who to ask. Okay, where you spelled the 100 mils and you saw the spillage. Okay, yeah, is that okay? Okay, perfect. So when there are two people confirming the story, then it's considered okay. So you must enter it in the book on that very day. You don't want to forget about it because you're busy, and then you enter it in a few days. It looks bad. Okay, but if you do it straight away, then you're covered. All right. Basically, everyone who deals with methadone patients should be vaccinated with the hepatitis B vaccine. You can actually get that for free if you check it out online. There is a scheme from the HSC that will allow you to get the vaccine for free. All right. Perfect. And now we have our very first prescription. You can see there it says script 1 because I titled it that way. Now, when you will see prescriptions, they will not be written this pretty. They will be written in ink and with doctor's writing, which you most of the times you will have difficulty making out what they have written. If it's the secretary writing it, it's better because secretaries have better writing than doctors. More eligible anyway. So we'll start at the top. The pharmacy sequence number is basically if you have 10 methadone patients and this is the first prescription of the month, it would be number 1, and then the following prescription would be number 2, and so on. The serial prescription will be put on by the doctor. So this will have a serial because it would be in a lot. So this will have a serial number from the doctor. You will have the patient's address because you might have, like I went all American here and I said John Doe. In Ireland, they use another name for like an unknown people, but I can't remember it now. But I went by the American way with John Doe. So you may have more than one John Doe in the computer. One might be living in the middle of the town, and one might be living, like I said here, in the middle of nowhere. So you choose John Doe that is in the middle of nowhere. You know that that's him. On purpose, I did this date prescribed on the 31st of January 23. So you can see that the prescription can actually be written ahead. So maybe the patient goes and sees the doctor on the 31st of January 23, but he actually gets prescriptions for the full month. So he gets 4 prescriptions. And this particular prescription would cover from the week from the 16th of February to the 22nd. So these dates can actually differ. The patient may not go every week to see the doctor. Most do, but not all of them. And this, as you will see in the later prescription, this might not say methadone. So you have to read here because maybe it will say Suboxone, which are tablets that the patient will put under the tongue and will let them melt under the tongue. So there's more. It's not only methadone that is used for opioid addiction replacement therapy. Okay, you have your patient's treatment card number here. So this is on the card that is on the patient's file. You have to have that card on file, and it must be valid because it's only valid for 1 year, so it gets renewed every year. If you don't have a valid card, a PH number on his file, you are not going to dispense methadone to that patient. Okay, you can see here opioid substitution treatment. You can have methadone, buprenorphine, or buprenorphine and naloxone, which is the tablets that I was talking about, naltrexone, the brand name. Now we have the dates, the week that is covered by this treatment. Dosage per day is 70 mils, and number of days is 7. So you would have a total quantity of 490 mils. and that has to be written in words below it. So 490. Okay. You have to have the doctor's signature here, and you would be used to the doctor's signature because you would see it over and over again. And if you see something funny about that signature, you're best off to ring the doctor and ask if he did sign that prescription or not. Now, this says sample only because this is the sample I got from the internet. So, but on a real prescription, it wouldn't say sample only. You would have the registration number of the doctor and the GMS number of the doctor. So in case it was a counterfeit prescription, I doubt that the patient would know the doctor's GMS or registration number unless he had previous prescription and read it down. You would have a stamp of the prescription of the doctor's surgery in this here space. That stamp would have to have the doctor's name, the doctor's address, and telephone number. Or it can be written manually, doesn't have to be a stamp. On the right side, it says installment instructions. If the daily one is ticked, then it's all every day. The only time that particular patient might get takeaway, even though he's daily, is if the pharmacy is closed on a Sunday. So if the pharmacy is closed on a Sunday, even though he's daily supervision, you would give him a takeaway dose on Saturday. And this would be discussed over the phone with the doctor when initiating that patient. When the doctor says, oh, he's going to be on daily supervision, you can say, doctor, we are closed on Sunday, so are you okay with us dispensing a takeaway dose on a Saturday? And the doctor has to okay that. You can see here supervised, so supervision instructions is supervised, and it's ticked under yes. If it, like I said, if it's a long-term patient and he's never been abusing or missing doses, or they have urine tests at the clinic every now and then. If that urine test comes in clean and the doctor sees that they're off the drugs and doing well, they can actually say here no, and no supervised doses. But the patient would still have to come to the pharmacy every week, but he would only collect the takeaway doses. You can see here the days for supervision. So this would be Monday to Saturday. So that means that he gets his methadone in a cup. He gets 70 mils every day in a cup. He drinks it in the care room with the pharmacist present there under the supervision of the pharmacist. And that happens Monday to Saturday. But Saturday, when he comes in, he gets his supervised dose, and then he gets in a plastic bottle with a child-resistant cap takeaway dose for the Sunday, and he's back on Monday. And as time goes on, the doctor may choose for him to be supervised only twice a week or even once a week, but he must earn the trust of the doctor in order for that to happen. Now, you only fill out the pharmacy GMS number at the end of the month. So every pharmacy has its own GMS number, and there's a drug code for different brands of methadone. You have to say the quantity here. So the quantity at the end of this prescription would be 490. So you write it in there. You write the number of installments. So there are 6 installments. And you tick the supervised one right there. And days supervised here, you would say 6. So 6 days supervised, because the pharmacy gets a fee from the government every time they dispense a supervised dose. So the government pays you to actually take care of that patient. Okay. And now, this is what you'll write every day. So when he comes in on the Monday, you write here 16th of the 2nd, 23, 70 mils supervised. And my initials would be ST. And the following day, the same. And you still say SV for supervised. And you can see here on the 21st of February, you give him 70 mils supervised. And then on the same 21st of February, you give them 70 mils and you put TA for takeaway, and you put your initials there. And usually you put your initials and your PSI number, but that's not a requirement. The requirement is only the initials, but I usually put in my PSI number as well. And you sign here. I verify that I dispense the items, and the patient signs here. Now, through COVID, the patient was now no longer required to sign. So that has kind of gotten out of habit. But with COVID being over, the patients have to sign again, except most pharmacies haven't gotten used to giving the patient to sign the prescription because they didn't do it for 2 years. But the patient does have to sign here. And you don't really need to know the section below. This is the initiating consultant's name or the hospital and the card number. That's not really of interest to you. So this is where I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I have a Suboxone prescription for you next, but I just want to see if you guys have any questions for me in the chat. So, okay, now would be a good idea if you have a question about anything that I've said so far. If it wasn't clear, you can type it in the chat. I will see it and I will try to address it. Okay. Now I'll give you guys a minute or two if you have any questions. Let's see what you typed in so far. Okay. All right. I must have been really, really, really good at explaining this, huh? Because I don't see any questions there. So let's see. Okie doke. All right. I'll go on with the Suboxone prescription then if we have no. I will share my screen again. Entire screen. Alrighty. Perfect. Now, let's see our Suboxone prescription. So this time it's a lady. It's Jane Doe. It's not John anymore. And her address is obviously in Ireland. You can see the sequence numbers too, because under the methadone scheme, this is our second prescription. I've even put in a serial number so you guys could see how it looks like, and a card treatment number. It might look like this. Now, one thing I want to mention for methadone, it doesn't have to be dispensed for opioid replacement therapy. It can actually be prescribed for pain management in severe pain, usually in cancer pain. So you might actually have patients that use methadone to deal with their chronic pain and not because they were addicted to drugs. So I just want to mention that so you would be aware of that. So Jane Doe gets, you can see the tick here under buprenorphine and naloxone. So that the brand name for this combination of active ingredients is Suboxone. So you can see this would have been prescribed on the 1st of February, but this particular prescription is for the second week. So she would have had a prescription from the 1st to the 6th, and this covers the period from the 7th to the 12th of February. Dosage per day. So here, apparently I forgot to say 16, and I was really sure that I did. So the dosage per day here is 16 milligrams. And for 7 days, that would mean 112 in total. So you see Suboxone comes in 8 milligrams and 2 milligrams. So on this prescription, we have Suboxone 8 milligrams, 16 milligrams per day, times 7. Hopefully it's 112. I'm pretty sure it is. So you have the total words in figure, and the total in words again, doctor's signature and registration and a stamp. On the right side, you can see that he's not daily. The doctor has ticked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for supervision. It says supervised, yes, and then we have days for supervision, because these two might actually differ, because they might have supervision, say, only on Monday and Friday, but still have to come on a Wednesday to get their takeaway doses. So you have to look at both. So the example down there would be on the 7th of February 23, you would dispense this patient 2 tablets of 8 milligrams of Suboxone 8 milligrams as a supervised dose. So the patient takes them out of the packaging and places the 2 tablets under the tongue, and they actually take 4 to 5 minutes to dissolve. So the patient has to stay there. You might have a small chat with them about the weather, about whatever you want. I remember my first time when I was told to get in there and supervise them, and they told me, have a small chat with them. And I was like, what would I talk about? And obviously, when you have nothing to talk about, you would talk about the weather. And you do talk about the weather for 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe you're better at chatting than I am, and you would find better stuff to chat about. But on the same 7th of February 23rd, so on this Monday here, you would give a takeaway dose for Tuesday. So you would give the patient 2 tablets of 8 milligrams as a takeaway dose for Tuesday. So that patient would not come to the pharmacy on Tuesday. So basically on Monday, you give her 2 tablets. She puts them under the tongue, let them dissolve. After they dissolve, you give her the takeaway dose for the following day. She will be back at the pharmacy on Wednesday, when we'll repeat this and give her 2 tablets as a supervised dose and 2 tablets as a takeaway dose. Now you notice the pharmacist initials here are different. I put them different as on purpose, because it doesn't have to be the same pharmacist on Monday or Wednesday or Friday, because the same pharmacist might not be there. So it's okay if we have different initials for different dispensing days. Multiple pharmacists could dispense this prescription. And what's interesting is Friday, the patient comes in and takes the 2 tablets of 8 milligrams supervised under the tongue, but she gets takeaway for Saturday and Sunday. So she gets 4 tablets of 8 milligrams. So 4 tablets of 8 milligrams as takeaway for Saturday and Sunday, and she would have to have another prescription on file, or she would have to hand it in for the following week. But with Suboxone, if the patient's dose is actually higher, you might have to make it out from Suboxone 8 and Suboxone 2. So that's why I've given you the other prescription with Suboxone 2 milligram, which is for Jane Doe, who obviously lives in Ireland. So this is the same patient as the one on the prescription with Suboxone 8 milligrams. And this covers the exact same period as the other one, because in total, the patient would get 20 milligrams per day. So you make that out from 2 tablets of 8 milligrams, which is 16 milligrams, and you give her 2 tablets of 4 milligrams, which of 2 milligrams, which is 4 milligrams, and the total daily dose would be 20 milligrams. So you could have, you should have for the full month, you should have 8 prescriptions for Jane Doe. You would have 4 prescriptions for her Suboxone 2 milligrams and 4 prescriptions for her Suboxone 8 milligrams. So that's what I wanted to show you. In case, if you're new in the pharmacy and you're in a hurry and you're nervous, you might not notice that the patient actually has you would come across this prescription for Suboxone 8 milligrams, and we say, oh, I found a valid script. Oh, it's for this week. Okay, I'll get it ready. And you will actually give her this dose, and she would say, where's my other tablets? And you would be, what other tablets? Well, I'm on Suboxone 2 milligrams as well. And um, you would be a bit embarrassed then, because you didn't have a full look around in her file and see that she's actually on 20 milligrams, and you need to make that dose up from these prescriptions. So basically everything here is the same. Same takeaway doses, 2 tablets supervised, so she wouldn't be able to fit in 4 tablets of Suboxone under the tongue. Some do, but usually you give her 2 tablets and then the other 2 tablets, which will take around 10 minutes to dissolve for the supervised dose. But that's just the way it is. And you would give her the takeaway doses as well. So just be careful with Suboxone. The dose might need 2 prescriptions to make up the correct dose. So you don't look bad, or even maybe the patient is in a hurry and is not aware that you gave only one of the strengths, or bad stuff can happen from this. So I just wanted to point it out to you. It will look bad upon you as a pharmacist if you miss that the patient actually has 2 prescriptions for the same week for Suboxone. So that covers our material. I gave you a third material, which is very self-explanatory there, for the guidance that we have from the HSC. I've stopped sharing my screen so I can see the chat again. I'm willing to stay a few minutes to answer any questions that you guys would have. Now, when I started this whole recruitment company, I started with a small number of pharmacists, and we would keep a close connection. But this has grown so much now that I have pharmacists coming into the group, and I don't even get to chat with them to see what they need, what they want, what they can get. So while you guys are typing in your questions, I'll take this time to actually give you an overview of what I'm doing. Basically, I train every pharmacist that I recruit. So if you're looking for a job in Ireland, I can find an awesome job for you. I can arrange an online interview. You could get a contract while you are still in your home country. So you would have an online interview or 2 or maybe 3, and then reach an agreement with the employer, and you could get a contract to be signed by you while you're in your home country. So you could quit your job only when you know there's something waiting for you here. I will personally be in touch with you. I will give you access to 20 video modules, 45 long minutes each, that will cover everything you need to know about legislation around the pharmacy, about the schemes in Ireland, about claiming at the end of the month, basically everything that a foreign pharmacist would need to know and be able to practice in Ireland. I would answer your questions before you arrived here. I would answer your questions after you arrive here. I keep a close contact with all the pharmacists that I have placed. Basically, there's no other recruitment company that does this. Any other recruitment company, you would have a recruiter that has nothing to do with pharmacy, that wouldn't be able to help you whatsoever. They would only connect you with the employer. You would reach an agreement, and then that particular agent would say, bye-bye, thank you, nice to meet you, goodbye, I've done my job. Whereas when you start here and you have questions, I have my pharmacist texting me, what can I say here? Why do I do that? What do I need to do here? I still keep a close contact with all of my pharmacists. So you're welcome to benefit from all the free stuff that I'm giving you all the free advice and all the material that I post on Facebook and YouTube. Now, for my non-European friends, I just want to congratulate Tony for being totally awesome. She is great. Um, uh, she's going through all the process, and Kudzi as well. Very proud of you guys. You guys are doing an awesome job. Um, I have some in the Facebook group. As soon as they come in, they're like, "Oh, I want someone to explain the process for me from top to bottom," and it's all explained on the website, on the PSI's website. All the resources are there, or all the books you need to read for the exams are there. Nobody takes any other advice from anywhere else, so there's no other resource, other magic thing that could happen. So I do get a lot of people asking for extra resources, for extra stuff, for magic pills. There is no such thing. So if you're really serious about going through it, you have to go through the process. Now, I have connected some of you so you wouldn't be alone through the process. I've connected you to people who are further ahead in the process, and you could ask a question or two about the process, the registration process for non-European pharmacists. But in generally speaking, you have to inform yourself because the information is all there. Um, as people go through the exams, if they have tips and tricks that would be useful to the other ones that are coming, and that will be going through the same process, I will ask them, and I will try to make separate videos with anything that I think might be useful for you guys. But as a rule of thumb, it's all on the PSI's website. They're the only ones that can actually give you the guidance on it and what books to read and how the process would look like. Now, for my European friends, lately I've had pharmacists that have gone through the process of registering and have waited on their English exam and have took their English exam and were all happy and excited. And then they were told they need a certificate of conformity from their own country, which they came from. I don't know what's on the PSI's website. I don't know how you read that. I don't know. So when you go on the PSI's website, you can actually create your own account, and you can go through that account and register. They will ask you certain documents. Apparently, it's not so obvious that you need a certificate of conformity, but you do, and that takes a lot of time. It takes around 3 months for your local government to send it to the PSI. So you lose 3 months if you don't have it. It doesn't cost you anything to have that. So regardless that you're saying, I didn't see that required on the PSI's website, do look it up in your own country. Do look up certificate of conformity for pharmacists, and please apply for one to be sent by your local government to the PSI in Ireland. PSI stands for Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, in case someone doesn't know. Please have that sent and added to your file. It would be automatically added to your file because you are losing a bunch of money because you still have to work as a technician because you didn't register as a pharmacist yet. If you're lucky enough to have started as a technician, quite a large number of you have, and I have quite a large number in the Facebook groups that are looking to start as a pharmacy technician. It's getting harder and harder to do that, but it is possible. For some of you, I'm looking for those kind of positions as we speak, but it's getting harder and harder to do that. So it would be better for you guys to have all the documents necessary, and then when you pass your English exam, just send that English exam result to the PSI, and all your documents would be there, and you would be able to actually register and practice as a pharmacist in Ireland. Now, you guys seem to have gotten everything right. I don't know if I'm really good. Okay, some questions popped here. Finally. Okay, none of you have actually given StreamYard permission to see your Facebook profile. StreamYard is the app I'm using to actually share my screen with you and be able to go live in 2 Facebook groups. But so I can't say who asked the question, but it says, will you ask the doctor to issue a new prescription if a patient missed a dose more than 2 days consecutively, or do you take the instructions from the doctor over the phone? Um, you can take them over the phone, but most likely the doctor will want that patient on a lower dose and will issue a new prescription. So what the doctor will do is the doctor will send you an email through health mail, which health mail is an email for healthcare professionals only. So only doctors and pharmacists have access to that. So the doctor will email you a new prescription so you can dispense it right away, and will send the original prescription for you to send at the end of the month to claim from the government. The doctor will send that original prescription to you by post in the pharmacy, so you'll get it in the following days. But the doctor will actually send you a new prescription in minutes by email, because it's very unlikely that the doctor will say, yeah, given the 100 mils that he's always on. The doctor will probably say, oh, okay, we'll start him on 30 mils again and go up or down, or it's very unlikely that the doctor would actually keep him on the same dose. If, for example, Suboxone 8 milligrams is out of stock, but only 2 milligrams is available, will the doctor have to reissue the prescription with Suboxone 2 instead? No, you can make the milligrams up yourself. It will be hard for the patient to actually take 4 tablets for each Suboxone 8. So if he's on 16 milligrams, he would have to put under his tongue 8 tablets of the 2 milligrams, which is totally doable. You don't have to contact the doctor, because you're giving him the right strength. It just may take the patient longer to dissolve the tablets under the tongue. So yeah, then you don't have to contact the doctor if that's the question, because you can make up the milligrams on the prescription with whatever you have at hand. But yeah, it would be unpleasant. Someone is saying, could you please explain Suboxone 2 again? Okay, let's see if I can explain that again. Let me share my screen again. And okay. All right. Suboxone 2. So we have here Suboxone 2 milligrams. Now, keep in mind, some doctors don't even say 2 milligrams or not. They might only say Suboxone, because the milligrams will be here under dosage per day, 4 milligrams. So the pharmacist can make up the 4 milligrams with whatever they have in hand. In this case, Suboxone 2. So some doctors say Suboxone 2 milligrams, some doctors only say Suboxone, and you have to make out the milligrams here. So this prescription is prescribed on the same date as the Suboxone 8 milligrams. It covers the same week that the Suboxone 8 milligrams covers. And it says that you have to give her 4 milligrams. So you can deduct that you can actually use 2 tablets of the 2 milligram to make up the 4 milligram. In total, there will be 28 tablets, 28 milligrams, 28 milligrams of Suboxone covered by this script, and 112 milligrams of Suboxone covered on the other one. You would have 28, so the total quantity written in words. You see the tick is here for buprenorphine and naloxone, which are the two active ingredients in Suboxone. You see under installment instructions, you see ticked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Installments means that you're dividing the whole quantity in those three installments. So you can see in the supervision instructions, the days for supervision are the same as the installment instructions, because that's for most patients. It's only the ones that are really, really have been on it for a long time, and then the doctor trusts them. They can be ticked for installments, but not for the supervised dose. So days for supervision: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So patient comes to the pharmacy on Monday. Monday would be the 7th of February. He receives 2 tablets of 2 milligrams. That makes 4 milligrams, the dosage per day. And that you say SV for supervised. And on the same Monday, 7th of February, you give him 2 tablets of the 2 milligrams to cover 4 milligrams for Tuesday, because every day she gets, because it's Jane Doe, she gets 4 milligrams. So you would supervise her in the care room. You would give her the 2 tablets for the supervised dose to put under the tongue in the care room, and you would let those dissolve, and you would give her a cup of water or something, or have a chat, and if she's able to talk, then they would have been dissolved. And then after you're satisfied that she has taken the supervised dose, you will hand her the takeaway dose that she will take on Tuesday. And then she will be back on Wednesday, because we have a supervision day ticked here on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, again, you give her the 2 tablets to put under the tongue. After that, you give her the 2 tablets to use on Thursday, because we don't have a tick on Thursday. And Friday, you give her the 2 tablets to put under the tongue, but you give her extra 4 tablets takeaway. So 4 times 2, you can see here, because she's going to use 2 tablets on Saturday and 2 tablets on Sunday. And she'll be back on the pharmacy on Monday. Now, hope that makes it clear for you guys. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. Now, I have covered hopefully all the questions that you guys have. Listen, give me a grade from 1 to 10 on how I did on this training. If I covered everything that you guys needed to know and everything, if you liked it, give it a higher grade. If you didn't like it, give it a lower grade. I really want your feedback on this. Now I have another question that came in. With the daily dispensing of the medicine, who keep the prescription during the whole week, for example? Is it the patient or the pharmacist? Because the patient will have to come on a daily basis. So the prescriptions are kept by the pharmacist in the pharmacy, in the folder, in the patient's folder. So the patient usually gets, they either get a week prescription. Yeah, I see. I still have a question. Yeah, you have time to post it now. I'll be in a few minutes. So do post your question. Ooh, my battery is low. Give me 1 second there to actually put in a. Not cool. Okay, now there's my laptop charger, so we wouldn't go all black all of a sudden. So basically, the patient receives a prescription for 1 week or for the full month. So the patient has to bring that prescription. Once that prescription is brought in, the pharmacy holds on to it. It's put under his file, and the pharmacist writes on it every time every time they dispense methadone to him. Okay. Well, thank you for the 10 grade. 10 grade. Okay. There's another question. If you have Suboxone 8 milligrams and you don't have Suboxone 2 milligrams, well, that sucks because you can't do anything about it. You have to make sure that you have adequate um stock in your safe, because Suboxone and methadone and all the other controlled drugs, they are kept in the safe. What you can do now, when I came to Ireland, I come from Romania. Okay, so in Romania, if you have two pharmacies that are close to each other, we consider ourselves enemies to the death. So there would be no friendship, no loans between one another, no help, no whatsoever. Ireland is very old school. Um, you can actually ring the pharmacy that is across the road from you or even next to you and say, "Look, I have a problem. I don't have any Suboxone 2 in stock. I have the patient here. I need to give him his dose. So please help me out. Give me a loan until tomorrow. I'll order it today and I'll have it tomorrow." Or if it's in the morning, you can actually order it in the morning, and the supplier will deliver it by the afternoon. Um, so you can actually ask another pharmacy to loan it to you, and they 99% of the cases they will, providing that they have methadone in stock, because they might be a pharmacy that don't do methadone or Suboxone or whatever. So if they have Suboxone in stock, um, they will most likely loan it to you so you can use it. So in your whole town, if you're not in the middle of the field, if it's an emergency like this, you can actually ring another pharmacy and ask, "Look, please help me out," and they will help you out. Or if it's early in the morning and you don't have it, you can actually ask that patient if they can come back in the afternoon, because if you order it on the supplier's website, it would be some suppliers deliver it in the afternoon, so you could solve the problem that very day without asking anyone else for help. But if the patient says, "I'm in work" or "I can't come back," then you actually have to uh, get help from another pharmacy, because you in your turn, you would get phone calls all the time from another pharmacy saying, "Look, do you have Symbicort in stock? I have a patient and I have Symbicort order for tomorrow. Will I get one from you today?" When I came here, that was a shock to me, because we're not so friendly in Romania. But yeah, here they actually do that. They're very, very friendly. And the stock requirements, they're not like in Romania. If you're missing a box, you get hung by your manager. But here, if you're missing something, unless like a controlled drug, if you're missing a controlled drug like Suboxone, if the register says you should have 10 tablets and you don't have those 10 tablets, or you only have 5, or you only have 8 and you're missing 2 tablets, you're kind of in trouble. You have to explain why you're missing the 2 tablets or the 10 tablets or whatever. So if you get a loan from another pharmacy, then you pretty much have to give them back the following day and be serious about it, or else they will not help you another time. And they will probably knock on your door and say, "Look, I'm missing Suboxone, and if I get inspected, I'm going to be in trouble." So, you know, you don't want to do that. But like I said, you will get out of trouble by doing that. But it's always good to keep an eye on your Suboxone stock and have more than you need rather than less. But that's actually a good question, because if you don't have the 8s but you have the 2s, you can kind of get out of it. But if you need 2s and you only have 8s, they're no good to you. Okay. Wow. Thank you for all the 10s. It didn't happen very often in school that I got 10s. Although for my graduation exam, for all my oral presentation, I did get 10s. So it's the written ones that I must have problems with, because for my oral presentations, I usually, I did get 10s. So, wow, didn't expect that. Like it's fine if you want to type in something like you didn't cover this and I expected you to cover it, or because I'm really looking for constructive feedback, not necessarily. I'm not looking for 10s. I really want to know what you guys expected from it, if I covered everything. And do type in the chat if you would like me to host live trainings on a different topic. If there's enough interest in that particular topic, um, I will most likely do a live training on it as well. So if you've been struggling with something and you can't understand it, or you would like, I would like to have a training regarding the schemes, or regarding, well, not the claims, because the claims can't really be explained in a live training because they're so complex. But we could take particular schemes and go in depth. But like I said, I have special recorded online videos for you guys for that. So I'll give you another minute to ask another question if you do have it. I don't want you to leave this training with your question unanswered. But yeah, do continue to. So for those of you that are in the process of registering with the PSI, do text me on WhatsApp or on Messenger and let me know which stage of the registration process you are in, because I have awesome jobs waiting for you guys. I have pharmacies that are willing to let you start as a supervising pharmacist. I have great positions in Dublin. I have positions just 10 minutes, 15 minutes outside of Dublin. I have positions all the way in the western part of Dublin. There are a lot of awesome jobs waiting for you guys. So do let me know if you want to be part of our community. When you go through my agency and you get a job through my agency, you'll benefit from the support of the whole community. So basically, when you're looking for rent, I usually let all the people in the community know that someone's looking for rent, if anyone can help with that. If you have a question, if you're going through the process and have a question, I will usually answer it. But if it's something that's online, regarding the online, then the online registration, that only happened after COVID. I was registered before COVID. So if I cannot answer your question, I will find someone who has gone through the process recently and ask them to help you go through that process and answer your question. So everyone in the community is helpful. Everyone in the community has received help, and they are very, very eager to give help in return. I see someone typed in, yes, it will be great to have another training. Yes, but I cannot guess what you want training on. So if you can elaborate on that, please do. You have the Facebook group. You can text me if you want. Like if you want, I say I want training regarding this subject, I will post it in the Facebook groups, and if enough people say, yeah, I'm interested in that subject as well, then I will most likely do a training on that subject. Now, thank you for being with me for an hour and a half. Hopefully you got value from your time with me. And yeah, let me know what other trainings you would like me to host for you. You guys have been great. I wish you all the best. And yeah, see you in the Facebook groups. See you on the chat. Some of you have my WhatsApp number. Some of you can contact me by Messenger. If you have questions, I'm only one button away. Okay, enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye.